Hello, and welcome, department chairs, to your AAT Day Department Chair Meeting Kickoff. My name is Jennifer Rifkin, and I'm the Middle School ELA Teacher in Residence. And my partner in crime is Dina Neely, our Senior Administrator for Middle School ELA. The two of us make up your small but mighty team, and we are excited and thrilled to support our ELA department chairs and their work this year. Before we dive in, I do recommend that you have two tabs open, one playing this video and the other accessing the slide deck. There will be opportunities for you to pause the video and explore some of the resources that are embedded here in the slide deck. All right, so our learning outcomes. The first is always centered around building community and collaboration. You will hear Dina and I say a lot this year that we are crew. All of us working together will achieve something wonderful and great, but we've got to do it together. We also hope that you are building a network of educators that you can reach out to for support, for problem solving, for resources, whether that is in a department meeting or outside of it. We will also look at some of the district resources that have been developed to support instruction for the school year. Some of those will be in the form of updates, and others will be in the form of Learning Central courses or professional learning opportunities. We want to be able to preview those resources with you so that you're better positioned to support your departments. We are also going to introduce our work around student-engaged assessment, and finally share our ELA updates with you to also share with your department. So, true to my very cheesy nature, our inclusion activity today will include a treasure hunt. We are going to be mapping out our treasure. This is sort of a visioning activity that I hope you can adopt and adapt and bring to your classrooms or do with your own department. So at this time, I invite you to access the collaborative slide deck that is hyperlinked here on this slide. And when you get there, read through the instructions on slide 2 and go ahead and look at my example on slide 4. Essentially, I will be asking that you choose a blank slide. Determine what your treasure is. If you were on a hunt this year and you found a treasure box and you opened it, what would be in there? And it could be tangible, intangible, it doesn't matter, whatever works for you. Click on that X, use the comment feature to go ahead and tell us what your treasure is. And then you're going to map out or provide a narrative of the journey in the speaker notes section below. You will drag the icons to different areas along the dotted path and share what those icons represent to you. Now, if these icons are limiting your imagination, feel free to discard them altogether, copy and paste your own images on this, whatever you want. I want you to have fun with it. I want you to enjoy this activity. But I also want you to really think deeply about, what do I want to accomplish at the end of the year? What is my X, right? What is my treasure? So at this time, feel free to pause the video, complete the inclusion activity, and I also wanted to remind you, it's in the instructions, but at some point, please return to the collaborative slide deck, comment on each other's maps, and provide each other with encouragement and feedback. All right, so go ahead and pause, complete the activity, and we'll see you back in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. So the next slide here will share an update on our new Learning Central layout. We provided a preview of this at our last department chair meeting, and now you can see those updates and what they look like. The video is embedded on the slide. So rather than screencasting the video, I invite you to pause this one, watch that video at your own convenience, and take a look at some of the changes to Learning Central. Right along with Learning Central is Canvas, the what we call Blue Canvas, the learning management system that some of us are using for our students. The DLCs have provided some great updates, and those are listed and described here in this flyer. You can also click on it. It's hyperlinked if you would like to see um, if the print is a little bit too small for you here on this slide. So please pause the video, look through those updates, and if you do have any questions, go ahead and jot them down, shoot me an email, and I will be sure to get those answered for you. All right, so earlier this year, I did share an email with some resources that were created. All of these resources are meant to support learning and instruction in the upcoming school year. I apologize, I do see a typo on this slide. It should say 2021-22. These resources are located on the orange button on your grade level Learning Central site. However, eventually we will be removing those buttons and including those resources in specific areas throughout the site. So if you haven't had a chance, I would invite you to pause at this time, click on that orange button, and take a look at some of the resources that we've provided. All of these resources will be described in greater detail when you enroll in the professional learning opportunity that I will discuss in just a few minutes. I do want to highlight where some of these resources will live. So when you click on the new Learning Central module page, there's a pink button that says formative assessment. So you can access the formative assessment that is designed to be given prior to beginning the module using that button. And it will include a Google form for the assessment itself, an answer key, and in some cases, a writing rubric to go along with the optional writing question. The digital lessons that were developed, or I should say the lessons that were converted into slide decks, will live on the lesson pages. So when you click on the lesson and go under to lesson resources, you'll see the second bullet point should always be the slide deck. These are optional. Feel free to make a copy, make changes, and just use whatever resources within there that you might find useful. This scaffolds document we also shared with you last year. We've added to it. There's a video here that you'll view with your PLT when you enroll in the professional learning course. There are some links here of common scaffolds, and there are videos embedded that also highlight some of the scaffolds that you will find within our EL lessons, and in some cases provide some suggestions on where you can add additional scaffolds. So please take some time to look over this document before you begin your professional learning course. So the course I can continue to reference is designed to be completed with your PLT. So the flyer information is here on this slide. We really, really encourage you to go back to your departments and ask all your department, every teacher within your department to register for this course. And it's only about a 2-hour course. You can break it up if you want. And essentially, you'll be going through reviewing all the resources and reflecting as a PLT how you might use these resources to support teaching and learning. At this time, we'd love for you to review some of these resources yourself and just give us a little bit of feedback and your initial thinking on the Padlet on this slide. So when you access the Padlet, you'll see that there is a column for each of the instructional resources that we've released. And the question is the same: how do you think these resources will make a difference in the instruction that you provide your students this year or in your instructional delivery this year? And please be honest. So this is you reflecting on the resource, but also provides an opportunity for us to get some initial feedback. All right, feel free to pause the video, complete the Padlet, and then return when you are ready. All right, so the new hire training that happens every year will be completed asynchronously again this year. The course is available on Wake Learns and through Learning Central. The flyer is here on this slide. Please, please, please reach out to any new teachers and make sure that they enroll in this course. Because it is asynchronous, they may need just a little bit more support from you as they navigate this new curriculum. All right, so we want to introduce Leaders of Their Own Learning. This is a book that we will be purchasing and providing to all of our department chairs this year. While we are sort of calling this a book study, I don't want you to get kind of overwhelmed by that idea. I mean, we're teachers. We don't have time to read these books during the school year, right? And we get that. So the book study will be more along the lines of focusing on specific excerpts and points within the text. And we will make sure to structure our professional learning around those excerpts in a way that is not time consuming and only beneficial for all of you. So the text is centered around this idea of student engaged assessment. And the authors define this as a system of interrelated practices that position students as leaders of their own learning. As Dina and I reflected on the past school year and our year's teaching, we wanted to think about ways to take the load off of the teacher, right? Put more on the student, less on the teacher. And so we found that this would be a good route to explore. Before we dive into it, we'd love for you to complete the activity on this Jamboard, which will help us gauge where you are in terms of your own thinking about student engaged assessment. So feel free to pause, complete the Jamboard, and we'll see you back soon. All right, so we also wanted to share with you our department chair meetings for the year. There's a flyer listed here where you can access all the information. The flyer looks similar to last year's flyer. You'll, as we develop the topics, they'll be added. We plan for our meetings to be live but virtual meetings throughout the year. While the majority of them will be district-wide, meaning we all get together in one big meet, there may be an opportunity for these meetings to just be held regionally, similar to what was done maybe about 2 years ago. I want to throw a plug out there for the Wake Learns registration. So as department chairs, you do get credit for attending our meetings, including the one today, but you need to register. I found myself registering a lot of teachers last year and honestly, this was done just a couple weeks ago because it wasn't done earlier. So please, please, please go in, register so that you can be sure to get the credit you deserve for attending these meetings. So the July updates are also available for you to share with your department. On this document or on this newsletter, you'll find a lot of what was shared today in terms of the new resources, the where you may access those resources on Learning Central, the professional learning course, the new layout, the Canvas update, new hire information. And then there's a little bit more detail about the professional learning course offerings for ELA teachers. And I just wanted to take a minute to talk about this. So on those county professional learning days, there are 2 courses that we would love for you to promote to your department. The first one, Dina and I will be leading. This is on leaders of their own learning in the ELA classroom. So it will be sort of similar to what we're doing as a department with the text, but those participants will not have the text with them. So we're going to kind of take all the major concepts, put it into professional learning opportunities so that they can be empowered with those tools and begin using student engaged assessments immediately in their own classrooms. The second professional learning that we'd love for you to promote is around the makers movement and the EL performance tasks. So Dina and I participated in this training, and we really, really loved how you're able to take these performance tasks and have a hands-on learning opportunity for students to really show what they know and just have such a good time doing it. The professional learning dates are listed here as well. You can access the Wake Connect information. And finally, we've got just a shout out to our summer learning folks who attended the webinar, the trainings, who are out there teaching every day. Despite, perhaps a challenging school year, they're still teaching. And we just appreciate them so much. Please let them know in your department, anyone who taught summer learning, we appreciate them. And we've heard really good things about their experiences with the summer learning curriculum, which is Common Lit. So please let them know how much we appreciate them. And then just remind them that any updates to summer learning will be on this link to the Learning Central site. All right, we have come down the home stretch, and at this time, we would appreciate you doing a couple things. First, if you can complete the survey has some key information in it that Dina and I need, or I should say we'll produce some key information that we'll need. So aside from the typical, who you are and all that good stuff, how we did with our outcomes, we also have a couple other questions here that we would love to know. First of all, we are seeking leadership opportunities, or leaders who are looking for leadership opportunities to perhaps lead their PLTs in regional meetings. So if you think you're a good candidate or you're interested, please make sure to fill that out. We are looking to see what topics would be most prevalent during certain months of the year to help us as we plan for the meetings this coming year. And also just to note that if you want to be marked present for this meeting, we really need you to complete this survey so that we can note that in our Wake Learns. The second thing we'd like you to do before closing today is to be sure to return to the 3 different platforms we used within this meeting so that you can be collaborating and sharing ideas and resources or thoughts with your peers. So consider the collaborative slide deck where we did our treasure hunt, the Padlet where you provided some initial thinking about the resources that we developed for this school year, and then the Jamboard where you provided some information about where you currently are in terms of student engaged assessment. Thank you so much for your time, for your energy. Dina and I are really, really looking forward to the school year and want to remind you that what you do is so very important, and what starts here changes everything.